and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I've done any YouTube videos because I've kind of been focusing on the Instagram lives because I feel like they're more current now and everybody prefers them. But I did have a request to do a YouTube video to show my views on some products that I've been showing on my lives recently, and that is a foundation and concealer, which is why I have none on right now. So I had a request to basically do a high street versus higher end version of a video so that you guys can see the difference and you can make the decision for yourselves as to whether the high street versions live up to the high end versions and whether they are worth getting. So what I wanted to do for you today is a bit of a chatty video because I've started to get used to talking to myself via Instagram lives and chats. So rather than doing a voiceover, I will just talk you through what I'm doing. I have decided that the products that I'm going to use to prime, prep and set my makeup will be the same. Literally the only thing that I'm going to do different is my foundation and my concealer. Foundation on this side using the Maybelline Fit Me. I think this is about $4.99, and on this side I use the Nars Sheer Glow foundation, which I think is about £30. So there is a big price difference. Then on this side I use the Tarte Shape Tape. I can never say it, which you can't actually buy in this country, and when you do it's ridiculously expensive, but when you buy it abroad I think it's about £20 or £25. And the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Correct, I think it's called, Conceal and Define, which I think, I can't remember the price of, but I think it was £5. And you will see that I have some blemishes on this side, which is actually why I chose to do high street on this side, because I wanted to show you that high street products can still cover and have good coverage, and this side isn't too bad.
So to begin with, I'm going to use the Hourglass Veil Primer, which is quite pricey, but one of the reasons why even cheap products stay on my skin.
I'm just going to let that sink in and give it a few moments, and then I'm going to go in with my foundation and my concealer. I'm going to go in with my base. So I will firstly start with the high end side, which is this side, and I'm going to use the same technique that I've recently started to use, which is using my Real Techniques brush to pat in. I haven't actually worn this foundation in a really long time, so it's going to be a bit of a refresh about what it looks like. I think I ever realised how yellow this one was. It's very similar shade to my Fenty Beauty one, which by the way is my favourite foundation right now. So if you guys would be interested in seeing a Fenty Beauty, I think quite a lot of people have asked for Fenty Beauty versus Huda Beauty, but I don't actually have the Huda foundation. I have a tester, so maybe I could try it on that side. I think I've just realised how yellow this foundation really is for me. Let's see what shade it is. This is Stromboli, which I think suits a lot of people who are Asian. I think Nars have 2 or 3 shades which pretty much suit every Asian skin tone. Now I have done this side, I'm actually going to go in and do that side because that feels really odd and it looks really yellow, but it has actually covered my skin really well, and I think once I've done my concealer and everything else it will balance out on that side, which must be why I've never noticed how yellow it is. Also the Maybelline Fit Me that I've got is quite peachy toned. I think they had 2 options, a yellow and a peach, and I went for the peach, which may be why this one feels yellow in comparison, so you will see shortly. And the shade that I have got is 130 in Buff Beige. This foundation is meant to be a dupe of the Nars one. The Nars one I find is quite runny, so when I'm putting it on my hand so then I can put it on my skin, I do find it's a little bit runny, and I found it's the same with the Maybelline Fit Me, and it always made me wonder if they had good coverage because they were so runny, but they really both have really good coverage, so I was quite surprised at how good it was. I've put less than maybe a pump, so I may need to add some more, and I'm going to use the exact same technique. And I did a live the first time I used this one, and I found that the colour match was really good, and I've never had to colour match myself because I usually go to places like Selfridges or wherever to buy my makeup. I well, I haven't been to Superdrug to buy a foundation, I think, ever in life. When I was younger, being Asian, there wasn't a massive range of foundation products available in Boots and Superdrug for Asian skin tones, if any. And I used to go to the Body Shop because they used to mix a foundation colour for you, and I loved it. And that is where I used to buy my foundations until my sister went to university and discovered MAC. I found that drugstore foundations were really patchy, you couldn't ever get the right colour, they were either too pale or too orange, and you literally maybe had one colour for Asian skin tone, if that. This is the high end, that's the Nars, and that's the Maybelline. I would say this has got more coverage on it, maybe because there was more product and it's slightly thicker. However, I think the Maybelline has got pretty good coverage considering I had blemishes, and it has covered my blemishes. And I find the colour match is 100% better on the Maybelline side. And I don't feel like this side looks like I don't have foundation on, it's just that Nars looks a bit more full coverage. The next thing I am going to do is the concealers. So for the concealer, I am going to use Tarte Shape Tape on this side and Makeup Revolution on this side. I'm going to take them both directly from the applicator, which I'm probably going to regret later because they're both quite thick in consistency and I don't really like really thick concealers. If you've got Shape Tape, you will know how thick it is. I was originally going to do one side and then put the other side on, but I find with this that it sets really quickly, so I don't want to take the risk. So on this side I am just going to do a slight line here and some across here, and my nose I'll use the Makeup Revolution. Dabbing motions to make sure that the concealer pats in nicely and blends in with my foundation so it doesn't look patchy. And even though I'm using it to highlight, I do find that getting a concealer, most people say 2 shades lighter, I go extreme. I think I use like the lightest concealer, so I would probably recommend 3 shades lighter to brighten under your under eyes. Do not ever buy a concealer that is the same colour as your foundation because it won't do much for you. I feel like if you're using it on your under eye area, it needs to brighten that area. Like you can see the difference and how it's brightened and in a lot better. So that is the Shape Tape side. I only use Shape Tape on one-off occasions when I want really heavy coverage because it is quite thick, but it is such a good concealer and it blends in so well. What I love about the Makeup Revolution is how expensive this packaging looks. This one has literally taken the beauty world by storm. I have seen this everywhere and I was actually quite surprised when I went into my Superdrug that they had any light colours because they've all pretty much flown off the shelves. The colour that I've gone for is C4. I think again, different to the high end, it's slightly peacher and not as yellow undertoned, but I still quite like it. So again, I'm going to take it straight from the applicator. And what I find about this is, even though the applicator looks similar, the one for the Shape Tape is slightly fluffier. I feel like this one's quite hard. But considering the concealer is like under £5, I didn't really know what to expect. And I'm going to use it on here. And it's still a light colour, but it's slightly more peach than yellow. And I feel like you probably can't see it on the screen, but this is actually a little bit creamier, whereas the Tarte Shape Tape is a little bit thicker and this one doesn't set as quickly. So while I was talking, that Shape Tape actually set really quickly and I feel like I could probably leave this for a little bit longer. I do find this one easier to blend. However, I don't think the coverage is as full on as the Shape Tape. But for me, because I wear concealer to brighten, not massively for coverage, I don't mind it. So now I'm looking at myself, you can totally tell that the coverage is nowhere near on that side to this side. So I would say you probably have to use double the amount of the Makeup Revolution to the Shape Tape. So now I am going to go in and set it all and do my bronzer and my blusher as I usually would. So Angry Kick. So guys, I have done my full face now and I will be back in a couple of hours. It's actually 9 in the morning, so I'm going to check in at about 3 or 4, and when I come back in a few hours I will go through what I liked and what I didn't like and do a very quick synopsis for you. So I will check in with you guys later. I'm back. It's now 4 o'clock, so I did my makeup at 9, so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've had it on for about 7 hours now. So I just wanted to do a quick check-in to see what it looks like. All in all, both sides have held up really well. Weirdly, actually my Shape Tape has creased. So you can see probably underneath there that I have these crease lines. I did use a setting powder and I used the same powder on both sides. And on this side I have slight creases below, but they're probably not as deep as they were on this side. I feel like they look worse on this side. In terms of coverage, I think it is breaking away slightly where my blemishes are. But in terms of staying power, both sides have stayed pretty much the same all over my face. And they show up pretty much the same on both sides. Those of you who wanted me to show you a high-end versus high street, I think the battle for high street definitely wins for me. If you are looking for cheaper alternatives to your face base and your concealer, then these are amazing dupes. And these views are based on my skin and my experiences with it. It may not be for everyone, but for £10 I would definitely tell you to go and try it at least. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have any more verses that you want me to try out, then please let me know and I will try my best to test them out for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.